You did it! Congratulations, I am proud of you. Mark it off the list. 6 human needs test, done. I'm proud of you. Okay, how'd you like it? Did you think it was cool? Do you know what this has to do with you as in your life? How it affects your behaviors, decisions, really what you do with your life kind of always can come back to these 6 human needs. They're universal. Humanity, the human brain has created these needs to serve us, and sometimes we can get caught up and they can also inhibit us. So let's kind of go over what this even means, why it's amazing, why it's really cool to understand. You can become a practical psychologist by knowing these things. You can also, build yourself to a greater level, whatever level you want that to be. And you also can use these in your current relationships and to build new relationships by understanding who you are associating with, who you're getting to know, and how you can better serve their needs to, enhance your relationship by being happier. And you can also, tell your partner how they can meet your needs to make you happier. So let's kind of go into these 6 human needs here, and I'm going to explain what your results are and what you can do with them. Let's get into it. So the first of the 6, which you probably already saw all of the 6 ranked as to which one you value most from top to bottom, we're going to go ahead and cover certainty first. So what is certainty? Certainty is the need for safety. The need to have control in your life, security, making sure that you have enough, that you're safe, that you aren't, going to die, that you aren't going to lose all of what you have built up so far. It's a need for foundation, for comfort. Maybe you like things to be predictable. Having a routine is a ritual for certainty. Making sure things are homey, things are safe, having a safe place to go back to relax, to kind of get that place of worry-freeness, if you feel what I'm saying. Making sure things are reliable. Maybe you like a lot of consistency in your life. If you like a lot of consistency, if you like to be comfortable, to be safe, to have things be predictable in your life, then your need for certainty is going to be a lot higher. And there's nothing wrong with these needs. If you are kind of getting a feeling that maybe, some needs are less productive than others, there's no wrong thing here. There's no bad needs to have over others. It's really about how we meet those needs and making sure that these needs are serving us instead of inhibiting us from reaching our goals. So the counteractor to certainty is going to be uncertainty and variety. And this is my top need, but the cool thing is I find certainty in uncertainty. So my certainty really relies, as well as I thought at the beginning that, there's no way I have any need for certainty. But as I looked at my life, I could see all these different things, and I do have a big need for certainty. Everybody has a need for certainty because everybody likes to feel safe, to feel secure, and to feel like, I'm not going to go bankrupt tomorrow, and I'm not going to be living on the street. I have this safe place, this foundation built so that I don't have to worry about anything. But I hate boringness. I hate being bored, and that's where my need for uncertainty comes in. And it's also going to be the same for you. If there is too much certainty and too much predictability, and you know exactly when things are going to happen, how they're going to happen, what's going to play out, and really how your entire life was going to unfold, you would be bored as hell. You would be losing your mind because there would be no spice, there would be no excitement, there would be no on-edgeness. You know what I'm saying? So uncertainty, that's gonna have the excitement, the change, the spontaneity. It's gonna have the spice of life. It's gonna bring new things to you, to give you excitement, to give you adventure. You know what I'm saying? It's exploration. It's the risk. It's the unknown of what's gonna happen next. It's like going to a movie, and it's the suspense, right? Not knowing what's gonna happen next is exciting to a lot of people. The creativity, right? It's the creativeness of life. Obviously, you go into nature and no tree is the same, no snowflake is the same. Whoever made this life loves variety, and so they built it into us, and now we need it, we crave it. But some people have no need for variety. They don't like for things to be scary, risky. They don't like to go into the unknown. And that can also serve you in a lot of ways. If there's actual danger ahead, that uncertainty, that gut feeling of, I don't know if I should do that, that's gonna help you in that moment. But if you never take risks, if you never go out of your comfort zone to do things that do scare you, then you're never gonna be able to grow like someone who's going to attack the fears, who's going to risk the certainty to grow and get that goal that they want, right? And there's ups and downs, there's positives and negatives to each need. Fighting can be a way that people meet the need for uncertainty. If things are boring in their relationship, what better way to get some variety than to start a fight? Chaos, right? Creating problems that aren't there so you have things to be excited about. Fighting can be exciting sometimes, but it's destructive, right? So it's all about meeting the needs in different ways, in more positive ways, in ways that are going to help you get further on the track to reach that goal that you want to hit. Sorry, it's lunchtime. I have an alarm for lunch because I forget sometimes. So, like I said before, too much uncertainty or too much certainty is going to be boring. It's just too predictable. It's going to drive you crazy. And some people are scared of the uncertainty, but they do need it. So they go out and they drink to get a state change. They smoke, and there's so many different ways to meet these needs. And some people have valued different needs on different levels, but these all come into account. I like uncertainty and certainty because it's a double-edged sword, right? Some people find their certainty in the change, in the movement of life. If I'm not growing, if I'm not, if things aren't changing, if there's too much of this certainty, then I go crazy. I'm like, what is happening here? What is going on? Because that is something that I've become comfortable with, is the change, is the problems that I have to solve and kind of reroute my life. And that is kind of what I've kind of understood about myself, is that there's different ways to find certainty, some that you wouldn't even expect. There's so many different vehicles you can take to find that certainty, to find that uncertainty, and it's really cool to kind of get an idea of what these are and how you meet them. So next we're going to cover love, connection, and significance. Now, it's time to get all gushy on here, and we're talking about love and connection. And now this is a big need. This is a large need for everybody here, humans in general. We all want to be loved. We all want to be accepted, right? So love and connection, it's really gonna be correlated to caring, to belonging, to fitting in with those you care about, right? And in a relationship sense, it's kind of being in sync, being synchronized together. There's a need for togetherness, right? To be understood and just to be loved. I mean, love and connection is kind of self-explanatory, but you want to be connected to those around you and be accepted and be loved. and also be able to give love. Just being really understood, right? Now, significance, there's definitely a correlation there, but I'm just going to talk about the words, you know, so you can kind of get some definition, and then we'll go into vehicles and rules later. So, significance is, I like to break it down as importance, being unique, almost superior to those around you, right? To feel special, to be needed. You're a significance-driven person is more competitive. I'm more competitive. I'm kind of a significance-driven person, standing out, you know. That's more significance. A high CEO that walks in and kind of treats like a boss, right? I had a lot of bad bosses that really had a huge need for significance, and the vehicle that they chose was to go into work and treat their employees like they are far below them. Now, there's a lot of different ways to meet significance. It's just like there's a lot of ways to meet any of these needs, but that is a what I would consider negative way. Just like there are plenty of positive ways to meet your need for significance. But I like to kind of connect love, connection, and significance together by noticing what I think as significance is almost like you're proving that you are worthy of love, right? Maybe you don't have as much love, or you aren't as confident in yourself, in your ability to receive love. So you go and you have a higher need for significance, so that you can prove that you are worthy of love, right? That's the way I kind of connect the two. Let me know if you disagree with me. Always open to discussion. But that's kind of the way I like to describe love, connection, and significance. And now we're going to move on to growth and contribution. All right, down to the last two needs here, and then we're going to go on to vehicles and rules. So, growth. Progress equals happiness. It's an equation. It's science. When you start achieving, when you start hitting those goals that you've set for yourself, it makes you incredibly excited. You hear me on that one. I know you do. Growth is happiness. Growth is exciting as hell. And it makes you confident in yourself. Developing yourself. Learning. Education is huge with growth. It doesn't have to be traditional college education, which is growth as well, but just self-education, learning new things online, watching cool videos that are gonna expand your mind, make you question things a little bit more, and grow as you, right? Meeting new people, growing your network, right? That's a good way to explain growth. Is meeting new people and developing your social skills, achieving different things, and pursuing new goals. Once you hit this goal, you don't stop there, right? We keep going, we keep growing, and that brings such a great, overwhelming feeling of joy in your life when you know you're growing. It brings confidence. It brings that self-love, that you're proud of yourself, right? And secondly, we got contribution. And contribution is pretty much just giving outside of yourself. It's making things better in the world and helping others grow like you do. You know how awesome growth feels when you can help others grow, and that selfless action of helping others, whether it's giving money, giving food, or giving people the knowledge to better their lives, right? These are all contributions. It's really just helping and caring for people. So giving outside yourself, that's all contribution. And these two needs really are the needs I think required to reach full fulfillment, right? They're the needs of the soul. The first two are fundamental needs. They are required for any human on the earth. But not every human on the earth is happy. If you want to be happy, these last two needs, if you want your soul to be happy, right? I mean, you can go in and buy this new iPhone or this new car, and that's gonna give you short-term happiness, but joy comes from growth and contribution. And when you can feel these and help people and know that you have this purpose of contributing yourself to others and you make a difference, that's where you're gonna see that true fulfillment. So, we've discussed certainty, we've discussed uncertainty, we've discussed love and connection, and then we've also discussed significance. We've discussed growth, and I've also discussed contribution. Now, with all of those being said, right, I just gave you an understanding of what they are. Now we're gonna discuss how we meet them, and what we need in order to feel that they are being met. Right, so how we meet them is going to be vehicles, and how we know if they're being met or not, what's going to make us happy, because when our needs are met, we're happy. When three or more needs are met, it becomes an addiction. So, how do we meet the needs, and what do we need in order for our needs to be met? Let's get into it. Okay, now here is where things are going to start to come together and make the most sense, because we're going to be able to see the actual applicable ways that we see the needs in our lives, right? Because just knowing that everybody has these needs is one thing, but kind of getting to see how they meet these needs and how you can kind of figure out which needs are being met in different ways, in different vehicles, is going to actually be able to, you're going to actually be able to start seeing the world a little bit differently, right? Seeing behaviors and decisions a little bit differently than you did before. So, vehicles, we got like waking up at a specific time every single morning. That right there is certainty. That's a routine. Your morning routine, you get up, you shower, you eat your Frosted Flakes, and then, you know, you have your coffee, and that's every single morning. And then when you don't do that, it feels weird, right? Because that's your morning routine. That's you meeting your need for certainty. We all have different ways of meeting each need. We all have different vehicles, right? So sometimes I see people hiding at home, not going outside because they want to avoid any public altercations that they could get into. They don't like the risk or the unknown of social interactions. So they stay at home all day. And that right there is a vehicle. It's kind of a destructive vehicle, depending on what the goals are there. But staying home and in the comfort of your own home, not leaving, that's a way of meeting the need for certainty, right? There's also negative ways to meet every single one of these needs. Smoking. That meets multiple needs, which is why so many people are addicted to it. It meets uncertainty because it's a state change. Every time you go out there, you get a little buzz when you're smoking your cigarette. And it meets certainty because you know for a fact, when you go outside and you light up that cigarette, you feel comfortable. You're just, oh man, life's crazy. I'm so glad I can come back to this. And this is always here to kind of give me that comfort, give me that state change, that relaxation that I need. And I have time to connect with myself, right? I just hang out outside by myself, kicking it, smoking a cigarette. I've been there. And it's definitely addicting because it does meet those three needs. And the more needs it meets, the more gratification your body and your mind get from it, right? That's why drug addiction is so crazy. Alcohol addiction, it's these state changes, the certainty that you can get the state changes and the way that you can connect with yourself within that, right? And the addiction of a kleptomaniac, right? The addiction of stealing things, whether you need it or not, right? They get growth of watching, of taking things to the pawn shop or stealing things out of a store and seeing their bank account grow because then they sell it, or just having this growth of accumulated stolen items in your garage or whatever. It's the thrill of uncertainty, of going into the store and not being sure that you're gonna get away this time, right? And you know how to do it because you've done it so many times. Oh, all I have to do is put it in this little pocket right here, nobody's gonna know. I know for a fact. It's that certainty too. So the more needs you meet with specific behaviors, the more of a concrete pattern you're going to create, and that's what's going to decide your behavior from here on out. Once you build that pattern and do it enough times, once you run a pattern enough times, it gets ingrained in that disc, right? You put in the disc of you, and these songs start to play, and it's an accumulation of patterns that you created to meet these needs. And a lot of it comes from childhood, whether it's avoiding pain most of the time, patterns, destructive patterns, or just patterns in general come from avoiding pain or gaining pleasure, which I can talk about that forever, but I got to get on here. We don't got unlimited time, right? So you can meet needs with fighting gets that variety, creating problems to solve, right? Problems are a huge source of variety, right? Because you don't know what the answer is. So you have to come up with a solution. You've got to reroute, and conversations, creating plans, just going out and connecting with nature. You get massive amounts of variety and connection with the earth, growing that inner self of yours, and really connecting with yourself, the world, and if you believe it, the universe, God, whatever you want to call it, right? So a vehicle is the way that you meet each need. And if you are and you watching this right now, you got your results from the quiz. I want you to start thinking about the vehicles that you use to meet your needs, and especially your top needs, the ones that you value most according to the quiz. I want you to kind of look into your life and see how you meet your needs and what you do on a day-to-day basis, maybe your patterns, your routines, whatever those may be. How do they fit into these categories? What do you do? What vehicles do you drive to meet these needs? And now we're going to talk about rules. And rules are very fascinating. Rules is what has to happen to create the feeling that my needs are being met. What has to happen to make me feel like my needs are fulfilled? Now, everybody has rules to decide whether a need is being met or not. And some are a lot harder than others. And some are a lot easier to not be met, right? So I'll give you an example. A guy, right? Let's say this dude is, he's married, he's in his 30s, and let me ask you, sir, in your 30s, what has to happen in order for you to feel loved? And let's say this guy, he needs to be told, I love you 8 times a day. He needs to be respected, appreciated. He needs 16 kisses, 20 hugs a day. No fighting whatsoever. Can't fight at all. He needs dinner to be made. That's a way of showing love to me, of being shown love to him. So he needs dinner to be made for him, and he needs head scratches too. And his wife has to get her fingernails done so that she can give him good head scratches. And you look at that, and there's so many rules, and they're hard to meet, right? Being told to love you 8 times a day. What if she's not home, right? What if she can't give you 16 kisses and 20 hugs every day? You're just never gonna feel loved? That's a hard rule to meet. And so then you look at those rules, and you look at the like respect and appreciate it, right? What has to happen for you to feel disrespected? Well, I feel disrespected when I don't get any eye contact. And I feel disrespected when the other person gives me one-word answers. And I feel disrespected when someone questions me. Well, those are pretty easy to meet. It's easy to have someone not give you direct eye contact when you're talking with them. It's easy to have someone question you about what you're talking about. And it's easy to get one-word answers from people because some people don't talk as much, you know? And that you're putting your happiness and your need for love in the hands of someone, and if they don't give you a full sentence answer, then you just lost your need for love and you're unhappy, right? So the thing is for a lot of people, the need or the way that they feel their need is being met is these rules that they have are so hard to meet in order to feel loved, and in order to not feel loved, these rules are incredibly easy. So that's where we have a mix-up here. And that's why so many people are unhappy, because their rules are way out of whack. And this happened a long time ago. These rules are patterns. They were created out of a painful time in your life, and most likely from childhood that you forgot all about, and you don't think about it on a day-to-day basis. So it's hard to uncover what's really going on here. This is the exact concept and strategy that I use in my coaching practice to get a good and solid understanding of who you are and really appreciate your reality and your background and what patterns you've attained and accumulated over time. Really get a good understanding of how you meet your needs, what your needs are, and the rules that you have for those needs being met. Because that is a well-rounded idea of you. There's obviously an incredible amount more that there is to know and to learn and to discover, so that we can really create a unstoppable psychology and a mental fitness that is going to get you to where you want to be, but really getting a good understanding of who you are now, because it matters an insane amount of your past, of your history, of how you grew up, and being able to uncover those limiting beliefs. We all have them. Every single person, no matter how you grew up, every single person has beliefs that inhibit them from reaching that next level. We have to create a new identity. And in order to do that, you must leave the limiting beliefs behind and create a fresh, new set of eyes, ears, and brain function so that you can become the person that you wish to be. We got to get our minds in tip-top shape if we want to hit these goals. If we want to be happy and make our lives the best and become and forge our futures, then we got to take care of this thing first. Because this is the arrowhead that's going to pierce through your goals. It's the arrowhead that is going to hit that target and stick. We got to start fresh, but we also have to address our past and our present and how we can adjust to create the future that we want. How we can hammer that sword to be a tool so that we're not just carrying around this heavy ass piece of steel, because it's going to be on us no matter what. This steel, this weight on our shoulders and our heads that's holding us back, that's dragging us, that's hard to carry, that weight is going to be there. But it's up to you to forge it into a tool, into a weapon that takes you to the next level on this adventure. Life's an adventure, baby. And are you going to go to that dragon that you want to slay with a hunk of steel? Or are you going to put it in the heat, put it in the fire, and hammer it relentlessly until you forge a frickin' sexy ass sword and go slay that bitch? So, I appreciate you taking the quiz, sticking around, watching this video. I hope that I explained it well. I hope that you got a lot of value out of this. I hope that you go and look at your vehicles in your own life that meet your top needs. You got your results. Now I want you to go look at your vehicles and see how you meet your needs. And then I want you to go look at your rules and ask yourself, what has to happen in order for me to feel like my need has been met? And try to make your rules easier to meet your needs than it is to defeat your needs.